Countries in Eastern Europe are now on alert for any new migration routes opening up after the former Yugoslavian Republic of Macedonia, or FYROM, announced it was closing its border with Greece. Its decision came after Slovenia barred access to migrants transiting its country and that Serbia and Croatia said they would follow suit. In response, analysts say that although the so-called Balkans route, which emerged last year, is now shut, other irregular migration patterns may emerge. Hungary says it's now increasing security on its border with Romania. Hungary's interior minister says, for the time being, we're not experiencing an influx of illegal migrants from the Romanian side. However, the authorities will be prepared for that possibility and to be able, as quickly as possible, to build a border fence if needed. Around 13,000 migrants are now stranded on the Greek-FYROM border, while the EU attempts to finalise a deal that could see them all return to Turkey. In the meantime, activists such as Chinese artist Ai Weiwei, who visited the Greek Idomeni migrant camp, have urged European leaders to find a more permanent solution to the crisis.
It's another cold night in Idomeni. People burn wood and cardboard in order to get warm. At the food distribution point, there's tension, and most of the kids here want more. Afke Zuiderveld from Amsterdam tries to help the hungry refugees.
There's a huge need here, and the people are suffering. They get stuck at the border, and I really want to do something for them. It's cold, and it's nice to have some warm, just some vegetables and some potatoes.
The weather makes life very difficult here. Some children have nothing to play with but a balloon. Abia managed to bring her violin from Syria. Her daughter Isra brought their cat. They want to get to Stockholm, where Miran, their son and brother, lives.
Go back to Syria? Of course no. Go back to Turkey? We cannot. So what can we do? I don't know. Maybe we will cross these borders in a peaceful way if we can.
Euronews correspondent Apostolos Staikos is at the camp in Idomeni. They may be trapped at the FYROM border, but these refugees are ready to do whatever it takes to get to northern Europe, he says. Even though some countries raise walls in order to stop them, most refugees here say there's no turning back. The centre of Jerusalem on Wednesday. Israeli security forces shoot and kill 2 Palestinians they say had opened fire and wounded another man. A 28-year-old American tourist was stabbed to death on Tuesday. 179 Palestinians, 28 Israelis and 2 US citizens have died since violence began to surge last October. US Vice President Joe Biden met Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas in Ramallah. Biden is angry that the Fatah party has not spoken out against the violence. He says condemnation must come from the top.
Let me say in no uncertain terms, the United States of America condemns these acts and condemns the failure to condemn these acts. It's true that
violence between Israelis and Palestinians has been escalating these recent months and comes at a time when the US administration has acknowledged that there's little to no chance of a comprehensive peace plan before its term ends. Isabel Kumar, Jerusalem, Euronews.
Aung San Suu Kyi's party has nominated her former driver and close aide to be Myanmar's next president. The National League for Democracy is putting forward 70-year-old Chin Zhao, an Oxford graduate, as its lower house candidate. He's seen as the front runner. Suu Kyi is barred from holding the presidency because her children are not Myanmar citizens, the legacy of a junta-drafted constitution. But she said that she'll run the country through a proxy anyway. The NLD's huge parliamentary majority means the candidate it backs for the presidency is almost certain to take the top job. The party has also nominated Henry Van Trieu from the Chin ethnic community as its upper house candidate. The joint chamber is due to vote on who becomes president this month. That before Myanmar's new government takes over on the 1st of April.
Charges have been filed against former Brazilian President Lula da Silva in a money laundering investigation after being detained and questioned last week by police. Together with his wife, the pair are alleged to own an undeclared beachfront apartment in the exclusive resort of Guarujá. Lula has denied ownership. The penthouse was built by construction firm OAS, one of the conglomerates caught up in the major corruption scandal involving the state-owned oil company Petrobras. OAS has been accused of paying bribes to politicians and senior Petrobras officials to secure lucrative contracts. That probe has become the biggest in Brazil's history. It initially focused on corruption and money laundering at the oil company, but has since widened to include construction and brokerage firms. Brazil's current president, Dilma Rousseff, joined hundreds of people in showing support for the popular former president last Saturday. Polish judges have ruled against the country's government and declared that changes to the functioning and makeup of Poland's constitutional court are illegal. Government critics claim the amendments have paralysed the court's work, limiting its ability to act independently. The verdict has deepened the current crisis between the judiciary and the ruling right-wing Law and Justice Party. Poland's Justice Minister voiced the response of the government, which has rejected the court's opinion. "My position is the following," he said. "These actions, which we observed in the Constitutional Court, were actions of a group of judges who did not act on the basis of law and within the law. So they acted unlawfully. Their ruling has no legal force. It's not binding." Various other government measures have caused concern both within Poland and abroad, especially a law reducing the independence of the media. The Council of Europe, a human rights body, is due to issue an opinion this week. 30 years on, and Ukraine is still feeling the effects from the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. According to a Greenpeace report, tests show that people are exposed to higher than normal levels of radiation and are still eating contaminated foods such as grain, milk, mushrooms, fish, as well as firewood collected from forests. The bodies of 2 Italian hostages held in Libya by ISIL militants since last July have been flown back to Rome. The pair, who were employees of Italian construction company Bonatti, are thought to have died in a shootout before an attempt to free them. 2 other hostages working for the same company were earlier released. Members of the armed forces have placed the casket of former US First Lady Nancy Reagan in the Presidential Library in California for public viewing ahead of Friday's funeral. Nancy Reagan died last Sunday. Her 52-year marriage to Ronald Reagan was once described as the US presidency's greatest love affair.